What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Dark Previews. We've got the Commissioner's Cup, Indiana Fever versus Minnesota Lynx. I've got a couple picks in this game. I'm going to take you through that today. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Before we jump to the picks, I asked you guys to join my school community. I made a few educational videos just to give you a teaser of what the community is all about. It's where I teach everybody everything I know about sports betting. If you're serious about learning how to do everything from managing your money to researching all the players, join the school community. There's a 7-day free trial. It only costs $1 a day after that. At the very least, just check it out. Let me know what your thoughts are. I leave a link to that in the video description below. Now, in today's video, I'm going pretty square, unfortunately. And I've been trying to avoid going square, but in this particular game, the Commissioner's Cup, it means a whole lot of shit to a lot of people. These girls don't get paid very much at all. So what is it? $500,000 to the winner. I think we see a lot of the stars come out to play. So I've gotten a little bit square with that. So just giving you a heads up, I've been typically trying to avoid these types of bets, but I don't see too many angles right now with Caitlin Clark's injury status up in the air. It's something I need to dive into closer to, but I'll give you the best of what I've got right now. Let's go. Jumping into props madness the way that we always do. The best tool you're going to find if you like betting on basketball props. Check it out, 7-day free trial, plus you get a juicy discount when you use the code DARF when you sign up. In this particular game, what are we looking at here? We've got a spread of 6.5 points. We don't know if Caitlin Clark's going to play. A game total of 165. The bet that I'm taking first is Napheesa Collier over 22.5 points. And I would assume that this is the most popular bet on the game today because it just makes so much sense. I actually had a meeting in the school community today. I did a Props Madness Q&A. We're talking through how to use the tool, and I was going through the WNBA slate to illustrate how it works and how lines are formed and stuff like that. And Napheesa Collier is one of the players that we managed to dig up together. So let me take you through that. Firstly, her hit rate on the season at this number is absolutely brilliant. 24.5 points is an average 10 over 13 games. But I'm not betting it because of the hit rate. No, not at all. There are other factors at play here. So when we use Props Madness, I like to make sure we've got the appropriate lineup out. So they're starting 5, very healthy. This is how she's performed with all those girls in the lineup. I assume Napheesa Collier, she plays 33 to 38 minutes today. It should be a competitive game. Should see a little court time. We've got a small sample size where she's covered this in 3 out of 4 games, averaging 23.3. So I think we've got a slight edge to the over here. The one thing that the numbers don't factor in is the importance of this game and Napheesa Collier's ability to step up in big moments. The Lynx should win this game, whether Caitlin Clark plays or not. And I think that's going to be spearheaded by Napheesa Collier. Just stepping back and not even looking at data, if you just look at the lineups, who's going to defend Napheesa Collier? Natasha Howard? I don't think so. Lexi Hull? Too small. Aaliyah Boston? Too big. Napheesa Collier is going to have a mismatch all night. I think she sees high usage rate. I like her points, her assists, her rebounds. I considered the PRA, but in order to cash that PRA, she's really got to score the ball today, and I think she gets it done. So I do like that look. If we look historically how she's performed against the Fever, 2 games last season, 31 and 26 points. Both of those 10 and 11-point victories, and it might be the winning margin that we see today. She's very efficient, scores from a variety of ways. And if you take a look here, you can see here she does 61% of her damage in the paint. This Indiana Fever team, not great at defending the paint, the 4th worst paint defense in the league this season. And I've got to admit, like after their last 5 games, the Fever have really fallen off defensively. So they've gotten even worse than these numbers show. If we look at play type analysis, yes, she does score 22% of her points as a spot-up shooter. The Fever are somewhat good at defending that, but 22% is not a dominant play type. She scores from a variety of ways, and I just don't think the Indiana Fever are going to be able to hold Napheesa Collier down. I think she wins this game. I think she wins MVP this year. I'm all over Napheesa. And it's probably a popular look, and it deserves to be. So that's my first play. If you're down with Napheesa Collier, let me know in the comment section. If you want to be one of those guys that fades everything and somehow gets rich, then go ahead and fade Napheesa Collier today. But it's probably going to be a popular play, but I'm rolling with it. I don't care what everybody else is doing. That's what I like. The other look that I have is for Caitlin Clark. And this is if she plays. Like, we don't know if she's going to play or not. And I bet in Caitlin Clark to go under today. Under 18.5 points. This did open at 19.5. I liked it there. It's quickly moved, and it makes sense, right? Caitlin Clark coming back from an injury. This is if she plays, right? Been banged up a few times this season. She needs more bodyguards out there. Draymond Green apparently signing up for the Fever real soon. But in all seriousness, Caitlin Clark just struggling on the road this season. And that's probably the biggest thing that drew my attention to this. If you take a look at how she's performed at home, she's averaging 23.4 points per game, which is absolutely brilliant. She's killing it at home. We take a look at some other factors. She's taking 16.6 shots per game, and she's shooting 46% from the field, right? It's all wonderful there. But if you look at stuff on the road, then things take a dramatic twist. In terms of points, she's averaging 11.8 points per game on the road this season. If we look at her field goal percentage, it's down to 29%. You look at her attempts, it's 14.5. So basically, we're seeing less shot attempts, lower percentages when Caitlin Clark is on the road. Doesn't matter who they play. The problem is here for Caitlin Clark that she's versing the Minnesota Lynx. So the Minnesota Lynx have terrific defense and an awful matchup for Caitlin Clark. They allow the fewest points above the break, where Caitlin scores 52% of her points. They allow the second fewest points to pick and roll ball handlers, where she scores 38% of her points. If the pick and roll's not there, she can rely on transition, right? 21% of her points come from transition. The Minnesota Lynx allow the fewest points in transition. They allow the second fewest free throws, the second fewest in handoffs. Like, based on her scoring profile, it's going to be awfully difficult in order to cover this line, especially coming back from an injury. So she partially practiced today, which means she's a chance to play. But if she does, I think it's going to be difficult for her. Now, is this a lock? Absolutely not. I'm not immature. I'm not a fucking idiot, and I don't want to trick you into believing that it is. There's no such thing as locks in sports betting. If anybody uses that type of language, get rid of them. Don't listen to them. They don't know what they're doing. It is not a lock, because as difficult as the matchup is, as bad as her form has been on the road, and the fact that she's coming back from an injury, she's still Caitlin Clark at the end of the day. She's a great basketball player in her own right. If she gets hot, she could score 30. She could score 40 points today. If she's in the right mood, no one can stop her. I just don't think she will be. So I'm betting Caitlin Clark under 18.5 points. I hope she suits up so we can cash this under. Now, some honorable mentions. These aren't bets that I've taken yet, but some that I'm considering. Obviously, you have to look at Aaliyah Boston. The problem here with Aaliyah Boston is very dependent on whether Caitlin Clark plays. So I've done this on previous videos, so I'm not going to do it here, but I'll do it really quickly, actually. With Caitlin Clark, she's a fucking beast. 18.6 points per game this season, over in 6 for 9. Without Caitlin Clark, she's averaging 12.6 points per game. So she doesn't score very well with or without Caitlin Clark. Now, if we look at her rebounds, without Caitlin Clark, can't rebound either, apparently. 5.4 rebounds. But with Caitlin Clark in the lineup, 10.3 rebounds per game for Aaliyah Boston. So she clearly just plays better when Caitlin Clark is there. I don't know why, but I get the points thing, but I don't understand the rebound side of things. But I think my thought process here in Aaliyah Boston is I like the angle for rebounds, points and rebounds if Caitlin plays. I don't mind that. I'm a little bit hesitant around the points, actually. Not going to lie to you, because the Minnesota Lynx are a great defense. But the Minnesota Lynx, their weak point is they're not a great rebounding team. They don't allow too many rebounds due to pace, due to their offensive efficiency. But when it comes to rebound percentages of what's available, the Minnesota Lynx, one of the worst teams in the league. And that's because of their lack of size. They don't have too much size down low. So Aaliyah Boston at 6'5", definitely has a size advantage here. She'll play a lot of minutes provided she doesn't get into foul trouble. She should see some rebound opportunities. 8.5 rebounds is a little bit high, though. But I think she can have a strong rebounding game. So you might want to get a bitch-ass parlay cooking, reduce Aaliyah Boston. I'm not too sure. She's hurt my feelings quite a few times this season. But I get it. I understand it. There is massive opportunity if you can get it right around Aaliyah Boston, because she can be an absolute beast in her own right. But I won't make any calls of that until Caitlin Clark is confirmed or not. The other one I considered here was Alana Smith, and I wanted her rebound. So this is a real counter to where I think the Fever have the advantage is in the rebounding department. I would assume the Minnesota Lynx are very much aware of where their weaknesses are and where they need to be better, right? They need to stop Caitlin Clark from scoring. They need to limit transition, but they do that already. When it comes to where the Minnesota Lynx have to be better than where they have been, it is when it comes to rebounding. And Alana Smith is the person who's taken a leap over their last 5 games in terms of rebound opportunities, getting themselves in the right position, and she's starting to crash the boards really hard. So we can see the recent form is great. Alana Smith's rebound line normally sits at about 4.5. It's up at 5.5, and this is despite Jess Shepherd coming back from Eurobasket. So Alana Smith should still play about 29 to 30 minutes. I just feel like something has changed within her in terms of her efforts to grab rebounds. I don't know if it's Nafisa Collier getting injured and Alana Smith deciding I need to do more, or the coaching staff got an angle there. But looking at Alana Smith here to try to counter where the Fever are strongest, and that is on the glass. So that's one thought process that I have. The other one is Kayla McBride. And in the coaching session I had in the school community today, we spoke about Kayla McBride, where in the lesson that I gave today was around, even if the matchup is difficult, it doesn't mean you should look at an under. And Kayla McBride was the perfect example. We happen to find it by luck. And we were looking at 3-pointers made here for Kayla McBride because Kayla McBride on paper has a difficult matchup. The Fever, 4th fewest points above the break. That's where Kayla McBride scores 50% of her points. They allow the 2nd most points to spot-up shooters, the 3rd fewest points off screens, right? So it's an awful matchup here for Kayla McBride. So then the question was, so does that mean we should bet her under? And I was like, no. Like, it is heavily juiced to the under, don't get me wrong. The books think she's going to go under 2.5 3-pointers made. But what I did is I looked back on the last 2 seasons and I tried to recreate the matchup. Looking at this types of matchup, we're looking at teams that defend above the break very well. And we're looking at teams who limit points to spot-up shooters very well. And we're looking at games where she played with Nafisa Collier, Courtney Williams, and Alana Smith. And as we go back and look at it, especially this season, what stands out to me is this. Sorry, let me get these filters right. Teams that defend spot-up decently well. Teams that defend above the break decently well. Kayla McBride hasn't had a problem here. Like, she's still over in 3 out of the 4 games. 3.3 3-pointers made. And this is at plus money. So I'm not saying to bet the over here for Kayla McBride, but I'm considering it because at plus money, I get a little tingle down low, and sometimes I make decisions like this. But what I'm saying is, just because the matchup is bad, it doesn't mean you bet the under. There could be some value on the over. Because the matchup is difficult, we're probably seeing great odds for it, right? So Kayla McBride to go over her 3-pointers, that's one I'm considering. So I've got Kayla McBride, 3s, Alana Smith, rebounds, Aaliyah Boston rebounds, and we'll see. Kelsey Mitchell, her line's at 18.5 right now, and it's not usually that high when Caitlin Clark plays. So I don't know what's going on here. They're reacting to her recent scoring form, but yeah, still a little bit uncertain. This is a big game, exciting game, all that type of shit, but I don't necessarily want to unload the tank on one game that probably doesn't have too much edge available, right? It's only the one game. A lot of people probably betting on this. Nothing compared to the NBA, but it's the only game on the day, so it's going to have a lot of eyes and a lot of attention. If I end up only playing those square picks, then so be it. But hopefully I've given you some value, left some extra things for you to consider. At the end of the day, I do hope you cash out. We've got the one game. I'm looking forward to the big slate that we have on my Friday, which is your Thursday night in the US. I think there's a big 5-game slate. Big 5-game slate. I'm really looking forward to that. In the meantime, we try to pick our spots, get some solid bets down. But let me know what your thoughts are down below, because that's all I've got for you today. I wish you the absolute best of luck. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.